Welcome. This is Leah Bales, your host for the Becoming More show. Today we're talking about awakening your heart power. Awakening your heart power. Begin to feel what you notice when I just say that. Perhaps you can feel it beginning to open because you know your heart power. You have it within you. It's always been within you. It is your source of your greatest strength and power and impact and love in the world. When you're connected with your heart power, you are bringing your very best to the world, and you feel more joy, more happiness, more satisfaction, and you're able to bring the gifts to the world that only you can bring. So, awakening your heart power. Today, we're going to talk about a little bit about what gets in the way. I'm going to talk about 4 mistaken beliefs that are very, very common in our culture. I know about you that you are a big-hearted person. You are naturally a heart-centered person, very caring and full of tenderness. And sometimes in our culture, that's kind of crazy-making because it's not what's supported. And there are 4 basic mistaken beliefs, beliefs that are not true, but that are very, very common in our culture. What is true is that the heart is your deepest, truest strength of power and of intelligence. Mystical traditions, spiritual traditions, poets, for all of human history have known this. It's in our culture, in our literature, and I believe in our deepest knowing. And yet, over the last several hundred years, with a more, quote, scientific focus, we have often lost sight of that. Good news is modern science is bringing us right back around so that what we know about science of the heart, the more we study the heart, the more we can actually look at what's going on in the heart, the more it validates what we've known about the heart from mystical, spiritual traditions. All spiritual traditions have the heart at the core. Buddha said, the way is not the sky, the way is the heart. The way is not the sky, the way is the heart. Your way is your heart. Jesus said, whatever thy hand finds to do, do it with a full heart. Whatever thy hand finds to do it with a full heart. Lao Tzu, Taoism, said, abide at the center of your being. For the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart. The way to do is to be. Abide at the center of your being. For the more you leave it, the less you learn. Search your heart. The way to do is to be. Even in our modern language, we know that the center of the being is the heart. We talk about the heart of the matter, the heart of yoga, the heart of the situation, the heart of the argument, the heart, over and over and over, we use that as synonymous with our center. And yet, and the center of something, the very core of something, over and over we use as the heart of. Notice in the next week or two how often you hear people saying, just as part of our normal vernacular, the heart of something. The heart is your center. The heart is your center. So we'll talk about these 4 mistaken beliefs, and then we're going to talk about 6 core qualities of the heart that even just knowing about them, even just identifying them and claiming them allows them to awaken. It's like they're there already, but we're stripping away what may have gotten in the way, what may have obscured them, so that those heart qualities can shine more fully. The very first mistaken belief is your intelligence is centered in your brain. Mistaken belief, very, very common. Your intelligence is centered in your brain. We even sometimes use brain and intelligence and mind and thinking as if they're all synonymous. Your intelligence is centered in your brain shifts to your intelligence is an interconnected system of your mind, your body, your heart, your spirit. Your heart is an energy center. One of the things science allows us now to do is to measure the electrical output of the heart. We can measure the energy that is generated by measuring the electromagnetic field in the body. The heart is the largest, strongest electromagnetic field in the body. There's more electrical activity, intelligence emanating from the heart. It is 60 times greater than the electromagnetic energy generated by the brain. 60 times greater. So we can do an electrocardiogram and measure in the heart, and we can do an electroencephalogram and measure the brain, and the heart is 60 times greater. Now, this doesn't mean the brain is not important. It's really, really important. But heart thinking, heart intelligence, and brain thinking have some different qualities, and they're both very, very important, very important parts of your intelligence. They are both intelligent, and they're both really important for your overall well-being. So we used to think that the brain controlled everything. The brain was sending signals down, telling the heart what to do, telling everything what to do. We now know the heart continually sends signals to the brain. We know the brain is connected everywhere. There's mind. We have the heart mind, the belly mind, the mind in the bottom of the feet. So intelligence or mind is everywhere and interactive. So we need to learn to appreciate and honor and come into the intelligence of the heart and let it work with the brain. The brain's intelligence tends to be categorizing, analytical. It tends to think of this or this. It makes distinctions between things, which is important. We need that. The heart's intelligence tends to be more global, more connecting, more interactive. And we definitely need that. I would say a lot of the modern problems we have in our world today are because we are more divisive, because we think more in terms of this or this but this, either or, the separations, rather than remembering our connection. The heart's intelligence helps us go to that yes and, to the this and, to the connection place. Very important that we have both of them and that we be able to skillfully integrate the brain's intelligence and the heart's intelligence, supported by, of course, the body intelligence. Number 2, second mistaken belief is your heart is soft and weak. Many of us who are big, caring, big-hearted people have often heard this. The idea, well, you can't trust your heart. Your heart is, we have to protect the heart. The heart is soft. The heart is weak. This shifts to your heart is soft and strong. I think this is really part of the denigration of the feminine quality that's happened for a couple of thousand years in our culture. The idea that soft is weak. Soft can be very, very strong. And your heart is soft in the sense that it's tender, it's open, it's feeling, and it is strong. So your heart is soft and weak shifts to your heart is soft and strong. You can allow yourself to soften into your heart and find your deepest strength. Shift number 3. The mistaken belief is being heart-centered always means you are nice and sweet and never get angry. We sometimes fall into that trap when we're spiritual and we're living a heart-centered life. We think, oh, I shouldn't get angry. Oh, I should always be nice no matter what people say. I should care for everyone. I should like everyone. I should take care of everyone. Well, of course, you know what happens when you do that. You make yourself crazy. You burn yourself out. And If you think being heart-centered means that you are denying, you have to deny the quote negative emotions, you're missing an important power of your heart. So being heart-centered means you're always nice and sweet and never get angry, shifts to anger coupled with love can be a sacred, life-changing, world-changing force. Your anger coupled with love can be a sacred, life-changing, world-changing force. Anger can be a holy and positive emotion when we work with it well. Doesn't mean getting destroyed by anger. It doesn't mean getting stuck in anger. It doesn't mean recycling anger again and again. It means letting anger wake us up to what we know is true and taking action with love on that emotion. I think John Lewis was a great example. John Lewis died just very recently. In this last little while was his memorial service. And so there's been a lot about John Lewis in the news. And John Lewis, for his entire 80 years, was a force of love in the world. He had a commitment to bring love to the world. And he did it in such a way that he let his righteous anger that showed him, no, the abuse, the discrimination, the separation, all these things are wrong. I will act in love to help it change. So one key for this, now this is definitely something we're learning to alchemize anger into action, learning to alchemize anger into positive, life-changing force is a process, but here's one thing you can do right now that's very powerful. Focus on what you are for and not what you are against. So the anger may come up in seeing what you're against. You may see something happening in the world or in a situation in your life that you are against. Shift your action toward, what do you want to see in the world? What are you for? Let your love, this is what I want to see so much in the world. I am willing to take action toward that. So a key in shifting from anger being a negative thing to anger being able to partner with love is to focus on what you are for and take your actions and use your energy in that direction. Key number 4. Well, let me say first, sorry, the misperception, the misguided belief, the mistaken belief is that you need to protect your heart. The mistaken belief is you need to protect your heart. This shifts to your heart will protect you. You may have been told, as I've been told, don't be too open-hearted, don't be too trusting. You've got to protect your heart. Keep it safe, hold on to it. When you are connected with the actual qualities of your heart, when you are living a heart-centered life, when you are practicing the deep qualities of the heart, your heart will protect you. You need to protect your heart, shifts to your heart will protect you. Being aligned with your heart, your deep truth, your deep knowing, the core of who you really are is your best protection. Not as a fence, not as a barrier, but as your source of your deepest, most true power. Your heart is your source of your deepest, most true power. That is what you can count on to help you be truly safe, not just pretend safe, but truly safe in the world. You need to protect your heart, shifts to your heart will protect you. Aligned with your heart is your best protection and strength. 6 core heart qualities. So what am I talking about when I'm talking about the qualities of the heart? 6 here for us to talk about today. The very first one is love. And that's probably what most of us associate most with the heart. What I'm talking about is big love, expanded love, way beyond romantic love, even beyond emotions. This is a life-changing, world-changing force. This is a love that expands beyond you, beyond your family, that can expand to the world. When you can tap into this world, when you can tap into this love, you have an energy and a power that will allow you to accomplish your biggest dreams and will allow you to create change in the world. Teilhard de Chardin, a French philosopher, Renaissance man, wrote, "Love alone can unite living beings so as to complete and fulfill them. For it alone joins them by what is deepest in themselves. All we need is to imagine our ability to love developing until it embraces the totality of humanity and of the earth." So you can begin with this now. It may seem like a really vast thing, but you can feel the love in your heart. You can feel that connection with what is deepest in yourself, and you can begin imagining it spreading out to the world. Allow the love that is inside you to embrace the totality of humanity and of the earth. This is the kind of love your heart is capable of. This is the kind of love that allows you to accomplish amazing things and that allows you to become a force of healing and transformation wherever you are. Whether you feel like you're in a really small, close situation or you're out there in the world in a big way, it doesn't matter. When you're bringing this sort of love within yourself and out into the world, you become a source of transformation. Core quality number 2 is connection. I mentioned earlier that part of the brain's intelligence is separating, dissecting, discerning, differentiating. The heart is about connection. The heart is about how are we connected? Where do we find that connection? And I think this is really important today because I think a lot of our troubles come in the world from feeling disconnected, lonely, cut off, separated. The heart's power that you can activate to feel connected wherever you are, whatever is happening, is enormously life-changing. The extraordinary power of connection you can find not so much from your brain and thinking, not from your brain thinking, but from your heart thinking. The connection in your heart with your inner self, your deepest self, your essence, your heart, your soul. You can find that anywhere, anytime, whatever you're doing. I teach a lot of practices for that. You probably have some practices for that. How do you connect with your deepest self? Through the heart. Connection with other people. When you're centered in your heart, you have more true connection with other people, even if you have really different beliefs and ideas and orientations and political views than they do. You can connect from your heart. Connection with our humanity. All of us, again, no matter how different we seem externally, connection with humanity. Connection with all beings, not just human beings, but animals, plants, trees, rocks, this amazing, beautiful planet we're on. That comes from being connected in the heart. And connection with our higher power. However you imagine that, whether you just think of it as an expanded part of yourself or whether it's part of a belief or a faith system, the connection with our higher power that we find in the heart is much, much deeper. The heart we come into for prayer. The heart we come into for transformational meditation that takes us beyond our small self into that expanded sense, not through ideas and analysis, but through the heart-mind. So taking a moment to just feel connection with yourself, with the room around you, with the world around you, with everyone else listening now and other times on this call. Connection through space and time, connection through your body and beyond your body, and connection in your own way with your sense of higher power. Quality number 3 is courage. Once again, we go back to that place of like, oh, this heart is weak. The heart is defenseless. Your courage is centered in your heart. Courage is one of your core heart qualities. The very word courage comes from the French word coeur, which means heart. So courage is to have a full heart, that brave heart. And for me, this is not a sense of being fearless. I'm afraid all the time. And remembering that even when you have fear, I feel fear frequently, I should say. I frequently feel fear. Every day there's fear that comes up. And we can allow ourselves, even in that sense of fear, to align with the heart and find our courage. This is where real confidence comes, from the heart, from remembering there can be courage. We can awaken that courage. You might imagine for yourself an image of one who is courageously hearted, big hearted, brave heart. Maybe it's someone you know, maybe it's an animal. I think of lions a lot with the big courageous heart. And you can feel yourself standing or sitting in such a way that you allow that courage to rise in you. And maybe bring to mind a situation in your life that you could use more courage, and imagine yourself, knowing, yes, I have courage in my heart. I'm letting it expand. How could you nourish that? We'll play more with that. And that's something, again, I do a lot with my private clients. If you're interested in learning more, let me know about that. I'd love to talk with you about it. Activating the courage so that you can do what you want to do, what you long to do, what you know you're here to do, even though you may feel fear. The next quality is gratitude. I'm delighted in the last few years, there's been a lot of research about gratitude and the importance of it for your well-being, your happiness, your health, your immune system, your relationships. Gratitude is a core heart quality. Anytime you're coming into the sense of gratitude, just even by pausing a moment, if you're feeling kind of flustered, you pause and you say, thank you. Thank you for my feet. Thank you for this earth. Thank you for this breath. Thank you right now. You say that to yourself, to your sense of God, to the people around you, whether you say it out loud or silently, it doesn't matter. Whatever you do that brings you into that gratitude, brings you into your heart, amplifies your heart energy, and activates and awakens your heart power. Many people like to have a gratitude journal first thing in the morning, at night. That's a great thing to do. Anytime you come in and you just give yourself a sense of gratefulness of your heart and the gratitude, you're awakening your heart power. Number 5, core heart quality, is intuition. Being able to connect with your heart for guidance will serve you every single day of your life. We so often get into that head spinning hamster wheel. Often I'll feel in myself, or I'll see in my clients are like, oh, I'm trying to figure this out. And they're all up in the head energy. I'm all up in the head energy when I do that. You know what that feels like. Oh, I got to figure this out. I just don't know what to do. I can't make a decision. When you come into the heart, you open yourself to your deep inner knowing, to that still small voice within. You open to the gratitude, through gratitude, that's a doorway. Then you open into the guidance, the intuition. You open to your heart's voice. That intuition you find in your heart, in that deep core of who you really are. And again, you're more able to hear the guidance from, I think of the great heart, from source, from your higher power, that comes not so much from the thinking brain, but from the deeply feeling, sensing heart. And the very last quality, the very last core quality today of the heart is joy. Beyond happiness, beyond things being right, beyond circumstances, you always, always have the opportunity to connect with the joy within. In the 13th century, Fra Giovanni, Italian monk and Renaissance man, wrote, "The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind that gloom, yet within your reach, is joy. Take joy." That was true then, and all these hundreds of years ago, that's true too. Whatever your circumstance, right now or anytime, even when things are very difficult, we can find through the heart, we can find that joy. Even in times when I've been in a very, very deep grief place of losing someone or a situation, it isn't the same as happiness. I'm not happy it's happening. But when you can connect with the heart, you can find that joy that Fra Giovanni talked about. The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind that gloom, yet within your reach, is joy. Take joy. Notice for yourself the mistaken beliefs about the heart you may hear in the next week, or that you may hear inside yourself or around you, and allow yourself to make the shift of remembering the heart is an incredible, extraordinary center of intelligence and power and inner strength. You can tap into that anytime. And as you do, you become more and more fully who you really are. You bring your best gifts to the world. You can tap at any time into those core heart qualities of big, expansive love. The powerful love that changes your life and can change the world. You can tap into connection with your deep inner self, with others, with the world, with your higher power. You can tap into courage. Anytime you need it, you can activate, awaken the courage that's in your heart. You can tap into gratitude. All it takes is 2 words, thank you. Drop inside, feel those 2 words, and you are opening up the energy of the heart. Intuition. You feel yourself stuck, kind of wondering, drop into the heart. Feel it, breathe into it. Ask the question there. Joy. Beyond happiness, beyond circumstances, that joy, that spark of light, of life, of beauty that is always there inside you, in your heart. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to hear from you. You can leave a note or a question here, and you can email me, leah@leahbales.com. And if you have questions or concerns about any of this, please do reach out. I'd love to support you in my best way, maybe with one of my programs, something that I have, another resource I have. If this brings up anything for you and you want more support or you have questions, please let me know. And if it brings up something that helps you, that you use, I'd love to hear that too. That's one of my heart's delights is to find what it is that other people find in this work and how they use it in their lives and in the world. Thank you so much, dear heart, for being here.